On the next Arizona Horizon, a new exhibit at the Herb Museum features the celebrated artist David Hockney, and will preview another edition of the new Arizona PBS show, Art in the 48. That's the next Arizona Horizon.
I'm Alberto Rios. Join me on the next Art in the 48. Together, we'll explore the arts right here in Arizona with the people who are creating art and sharing it too. So look around your community. Art is everywhere. An all-new Art in the 48, tonight at 7:30, only on Arizona PBS.
Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
Ready to watch the best of PBS anytime, anywhere, on nearly any device? It's easy with the free PBS Video app. Simply download the PBS Video app on your mobile or streaming device. Now you can watch the latest PBS episodes or catch up on the shows you missed. Discover new favorites from PBS and local content from your PBS station.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World. Get the inside scoop on what's happening at Arizona PBS. Become an insider. You'll receive weekly updates on the most anticipated upcoming programs and events. Get the insider delivered to your email inbox. Visit azpbs.org to sign up today.
Arizona PBS celebrates a moment in time, made possible by Whitfield Nursery. Fort Defiance, established in 1851, was the first military post in Arizona. Once a symbol of control, has become a place of hope for the Navajo who live there.
Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
Washington Week is an island of civil discourse in a chaotic media environment. On Friday night, we gather the best reporters in the nation and have a conversation that's about informing the American people.
Washington Week.
All new, Friday night at 7 on Arizona PBS. Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Friendship Village Tempe, a retirement community for over 30 years, offers independent living with residency options, lifelong learning classes, as well as continuing care. Information at friendshipvillageaz.com.
AJ's Fine Foods, offering gourmet appetizers, fine wines for entertaining, and decadent desserts for all your special occasions. Find 10 Valley locations at ajsfinefoods.com. AJ's, purveyors of fine foods.
From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
As public hearings in the impeachment inquiry begin, Tempe protesters are urging Senator Martha McSally to support the president's removal from office.
So when they see crime, they put themselves in the victim's place. I think it's going to happen to them.
And they were created to make your neighborhood feel safer, but are home security apps like Nextdoor and Ring doorbells actually doing the opposite?
And we'll show you how an FBI fitness test is putting potential candidates to the test.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Christopher Lindsay.
And I'm Mackenzie Pavicic. Thank you for joining us.
Even as the House takes the day off from impeachment hearings, people are speaking out about what they think should be done.
Protesters gathered on Mill Avenue last night demanding Arizona's Congress members to support Donald Trump's removal from office.
Cronkite News reporter Delaney White was there and joins us live now with more information about the event. Delaney?
People from across the valley came out to protest for different reasons. Some wanted to get the attention of Arizona senators, while others just wanted their voice to be heard by other members of the community.
I'm out here because I'm concerned that our democracy is in trouble, and I'm hopeful that people will pay attention and realize that we need to get Trump out of office in order to protect our democracy.
Protesters gathered in Tempe to get the attention of Arizona representatives in Congress, demanding that they support the impeachment of President Donald Trump.
By being here tonight, I hope that our representatives can see that there are a lot of young people who really care about this country, and if something isn't done to get him out of office, then I'm scared for my future, I'm scared for everyone else's, and I really think that we need to step up and make sure that he is taken out of presidency.
One of the younger protesters had a message for Republican Senator Martha McSally and Democrat Kyrsten Sinema about what she thinks needs to be done.
But definitely McSally. She needs to step up, and also Sinema needs to use her voice, because in my district I haven't heard her even supporting anything. So I want to hear from both of them. I'm hoping that this rally can at least show something that we really do want them to speak up, and we want them to, give us the opportunity to actually have our voice be heard and what the public wants.
And some protesters had a different goal for the evening.
Maybe wake up a few people. It's not probably going to make a world of difference or anything, but at least there'll be more people that be more, a little bit informed maybe, or pay attention maybe to what's going on.
And Move On members are already planning events that will take place the night before the House votes on the articles of impeachment. In Phoenix, Delaney White, Cronkite News.
Arizona Congressman Paul Gosar appears to be signaling support for a conspiracy theory that Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. The Republican congressman sent 23 tweets yesterday about the first public impeachment hearing, with the first letter of each tweet spelling out Epstein didn't kill himself. A New York medical examiner ruled Epstein's jailhouse death a suicide, but conspiracy theories have persisted, fueled by Epstein's link to princes, politicians, and other famous and powerful people. It's not clear if Gosar sent the tweets himself, and when asked about it, his team responded with another tweet with a hidden message, this time spelling out Area 51.
While Gosar was tweeting yesterday, other Arizona lawmakers were watching the first day of impeachment hearings, and not surprisingly, their reactions differed along with their party affiliations, as Heather Cumberledge reports from our Washington bureau.
The opening of impeachment hearings yesterday was highly anticipated, with reporters and lawmakers packed into one of the biggest hearing rooms on Capitol Hill. But did the first day of open hearings deliver on the anticipation? That part depends on who you ask.
Arizona Congresswoman Debbie Lesko sat in for most of yesterday's hearing, but not because she was riveted by the testimony.
So far it's pretty dry, nothing really new that was revealed today.
Yesterday's hearings had none of the fireworks of recent high-profile events here, like last year's nomination hearings for Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. But Arizona Congressman Raul Grijalva said entertainment is not the point.
I think instead of people that make that accusations is boring, I'm not entertained enough, are probably the same people that are ignoring the facts.
He says the hearings are important because for the first time they let Congress and the public get answers they need to questions about what's going on.
You know, at some point you have to deal with the facts. Right now we're dealing with smoke screens by the Republicans. This is trying to divert attention from what is most important, and that is the witnesses. For me, the most significant thing that's happened today is that there's flesh and bone.
Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs, who was live tweeting from the chambers, dismissed the facts as little more than Democratic talking points. He later said, "I kept waiting for them to tell us they had firsthand knowledge, but they had no firsthand knowledge." Lesko welcomes the facts, but says the hearings are not the way to get them.
Quite frankly, if people would just go back to the actual transcript of the phone call conversation between the president and the Ukrainian president, there is really nothing there that's impeachable. So all this testimony of people who heard things secondhand is really, I don't even see why we're doing it.
Lesko repeated the point made by many Republicans, insisting that Democrats have presented nothing impeachable about President Trump.
People just need to read the transcript and they'll... In fact, I read it to a number of my constituents when I was home in Arizona, and they're like, that's it? That's what the media's all hyped about?
Grijalva says it's not hype, it's fact, and sobering information about a somber act of possible impeachment.
There's nothing to entertain us about this. I think as Americans, all of us should be very saddened by that we're at this chapter.
After yesterday, the committee's taking today off before hearing tomorrow from Marie Yovanovitch, the former U.S. ambassador from Ukraine. So then next week, 3 hearings are scheduled, including testimony from Kurt Volker, the former director of the McCain Institute. In Washington, Heather Cumberledge, Cronkite News.
Whether you're for or against the impeachment proceedings, you're most likely following the updates and talking about it with family, friends, or even coworkers.
Well, a lot of this impeachment chit-chat or time spent streaming the coverage could cost employers over $2 billion per hour. Let us break down those numbers for you. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, preliminary data from October 2019 and the November 2017 data from the National Telecommunications and Information Administration, an estimated number of 75 million internet-using workers are interested in politics, and they are likely to watch or follow updates on the hearings. The average hourly wage is around $28 an hour, which means employers could lose over $2 billion per hour in productivity because of the impeachment hearings. And get this, 94% of workers discuss politics at work, according to a recent Challenger survey.
Topping national headlines tonight, panic at a Southern California high school after a shooter opens fire, killing 2 of his fellow classmates and injuring 3 others. The suspect is currently in custody as officials search for a motive. Just after 7:30 this morning, students at Saugus High School were forced to run or hide, but some were unable to escape. Officials confirmed 2 students died after being treated, while others remain at the hospital. The shooter also among the injured.
And a Mesa man plans to change his not guilty plea in a federal case alleging he illegally manufactured bullets sold to the gunman who carried out the Las Vegas Strip massacre. A hearing for Douglas Haig is scheduled for next week in Las Vegas. The 56-year-old is not accused of a direct role in the shooting that killed 58 people and injured hundreds. It was the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history. Haig's attorney declined to say what crime he will admit to or what sentence he was expected to face. And grief remains in the air in El Paso, but so does a slight sense of closure, happiness, and community. Walmart store number 2201 has officially reopened after a shooter killed 22 people and injured 26 more in August. Community members came in droves to witness the store's reopening. They say it's a sign of healing.
Everybody's moving on. We're El Paso strong, and we're gonna survive. We're gonna get by with all this, you know, and you can see it in the people's faces.
The tour also features new security measures, including cameras and gates at the entrances. Police say the suspected gunman targeted Mexicans when he opened fire in the store on August 3rd. The FBI is investigating this shooting as domestic terrorism. And there are all sorts of apps that keep you informed about what's happening in your neighborhood, but how accurate are they at letting you know what's really happening?
Cronkite News reporter Isabella Holsizer talked to Valley Police as well as psychologists to see how these devices can affect users.
Apps like Nextdoor and Neighbors allow users to be alerted when crime is going on in their area. Some rely on posting, and others rely on videos that can be uploaded via users. When scrolling on the Nextdoor app, a majority of posts include friendly neighborhood banter, lost and found dogs, street closures, and fun events occurring in the area. But one specific type of post that always seems to add gloom to the conversation is crime.
Nextdoor is local only, so you have to live in that city, you have to be signed up.
So with the Nextdoor app, people feel especially safe because they're building this online community.
More and more Americans are jumping on the Neighborhood Watch bandwagon.
According to USA Today, more than 3.4 million recording devices were expected to be sold last year.
With the popularity of these apps and devices growing, experts say so is the paranoia.
We think the world kind of revolves around us, and we're very focused on ourselves. So when they see crime, they put themselves in the victim's place. They think it's going to happen to them.
When it comes to crime, there's perception of crime, and then there's the actual numbers itself.
According to the Arizona Department of Public Safety, overall crime rates have decreased by 2%, and theft specifically has decreased by about 2,000 offenses. And while it may seem that these incidents are all around you, just be sure to check the location to see exactly where it is. Rents recommends that you can follow some simple steps in order to continue using the apps in peace. First, be conscious of your surroundings and make sure to always lock your door at night. 2, don't freak out. It's really not the best to assume the worst. And 3, take a deep breath. Do your research and make sure it's from credible sources. In the Control Center, Isabella Holsizer, Cronkite News.
Coming up next on Cronkite News at 5, not everyone has what it takes to become an FBI agent, right, Mackenzie?
Well, that's something I found out the hard way. When we come back, I'll show you everything I learned while attempting to pass the FBI's physical fitness exam.
What's happening in Arizona, or is winter finally coming? Coming up next.
I'm Judy Woodruff, anchor and managing editor of the PBS NewsHour. The journalists of tomorrow face a fast-changing media landscape, but quality news remains vitally important to our communities, our country, and our world. At ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, students learn solid, reliable reporting, holding the powerful accountable, and rebuilding the public's trust. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
Welcome to another edition of Cronkite Sports Now. I'm Taylor Rocha. Let's talk sports.
For the latest on local sports and beyond, we've got you covered.
Let's do this thing.
We challenge reporters to go beyond, a game story. We want stories with depth.
It's just a crucial step from the college experience into the professional experience while you're still in school.
At Cronkite Sports Now, watch the journalists of tomorrow cover sports today.
What I really like about whether we're talking Horizon or PBS NewsHour is the fact it's not just one voice. We typically will get several voices talking, different viewpoints. So you're getting a good analysis of what's going on. We need good reporting, and that's what I depend on with PBS.
For more information about including Arizona PBS in your future plans, visit azpbs.org/giving.
I'm Judy Woodruff, anchor and managing editor of the PBS NewsHour. The journalists of tomorrow face a fast-changing media landscape, but quality news remains vitally important to our communities, our country, and our world. At ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, students learn solid, reliable reporting, holding the powerful accountable, and rebuilding the public's trust. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
NAU is facing a severe counseling shortage, leaving many students' mental health needs unmet. Non-crisis students have been placed on a wait list for the last 3 semesters, and some were referred to off-campus resources. Earlier this year, NAU raised its mandatory health and recreation fee to help pay for 6 new counselors.
The FBI is looking to hire 1,000 special agents nationwide this year.
And they're encouraging anyone interested to apply, so I went out to Grand Canyon University yesterday to see if I had what it takes.
So you want to be a special agent in the FBI? Well, get ready for one of the longest and most strenuous job interviews of your life. Before you even get to the more traditional parts of the interview, you have to pass a physical fitness test. And it's no walk in the park. I should know.
We never know what's going to happen. We never know who we might encounter. We never know what situation we might be in. If you do get engaged with criminals who are very aggressive, you need to be able to handle yourself, defend yourself, and defend those around you.
Participants are awarded points based off their performance, and while a perfect score is 40, only 12 points are needed to pass the fit test.
Even when you think you've reached that minimum score, go beyond that. Don't come out here prepared just to do the minimum. Come out here to do the maximum.
It all starts with 60 seconds of sit-ups, then a 300-meter sprint, followed by as many push-ups as you can do, and then a 1.5 mile run. And with just 5 minutes break in between each event, well, things get a little tough.
While my score of 8 isn't high enough to make me a special agent today, I received some advice from across the board that will help me come back next time a little stronger.
prepare and train, continue to train.
Anyone can apply to become a special agent. In fact, the Bureau looks for diversity in its applicants in their previous careers, gender, and ethnicity.
This is not just your typical from the military, from the police department, you go here. Absolutely not. We have people who are HR reps, we have teachers, lawyers, but anyone who has an interest in this can hit apply.
And to make it even easier, the FBI has launched an app to help people prepare for the fit test.
We have an app, FBI Fit Test app. It's a little blue icon, free, designed by the FBI to help you.
The FBI encourages anyone interested in the Bureau to download the app and check out FBI.gov for extra resources on how to best be the perfect fit for the job.
And now the need for agents is the result of a hiring freeze in the late 90s. And with the career of a special agent lasting around 20 years, there's an increasing number of positions opening up right now. You can get more information at FBI.gov.
After the break, could the city of Phoenix end its recycling program? We'll have the latest details when Cronkite News returns.
Cronkite Noticias is the Spanish-speaking division of Cronkite News, covering topics such as economics, education, sustainability, immigration, and border relations. Cronkite Noticias strives to serve the Spanish-speaking community in Arizona. Under the guidance of prominent Spanish-speaking professionals, students at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism develop content for our broadcast partner, Univision, as well as on Facebook and Twitter. Explore Cronkite Noticias at cronkitenoticias.azpbs.org.
With wildfires, a scarcity of water, and other environmental issues facing the Earth today, it's critical to stay up to date with local impacts of a changing climate. That's why we created Elemental, covering sustainability, a multimedia collaboration between public television and radio stations. From climate change to water conservation to renewable energy and much more, Elemental covers the latest in sustainability news. Find our stories on our website, elementalreports.com.
Then I stumbled across the kids programs and I fell in love with author. I used to be a school teacher. Some of my classes I taught were K through 6. I liked author's approach to how you would teach a moral or how to teach a way to react to a situation. And they always had a moral to the story. So I still watch author quite religiously.
For more information about including Arizona PBS in your future plans, visit azpbs.org/giving.
As journalists at Cronkite News, we report on stories that matter to you by focusing on the local impact. We dig deeper and work tirelessly to keep you informed.
Live in Wickenburg.
Live in Los Angeles.
In Cleveland, in Washington, in Louisville.
From Jerusalem.
Live in Philadelphia. From around the world to right here in Phoenix.
At Cronkite News, we report the facts and stick to the truth.
The city of Phoenix is facing a dilemma as rising costs and decreased income have jeopardized its recycling program.
The city has not raised its solid waste rate in a decade, and while the population and demand have increased, China has stopped buying Phoenix's recyclable materials.
So now officials must choose between 4 different plans to raise rates, and 3 of those plans including cuts to the recycling program altogether. The city council hopes to gather public input at 10 community meetings before taking action.
And I noticed it's getting a little bit colder outside, and Annika Abd is joining us in the studio to tell us what kind of weather you can expect.
Well, winter is coming, but not really that fast in Arizona. So let's look at the temperatures right now here. It's a little bit cooler up north as usual. Grand Canyon 65 degrees. As we go south, it's warmer. Lake Havasu City 81 degrees. Here in the valley, it's also pretty warm. 5 o'clock as you're leaving work, 80 degrees. It's going to decrease a little bit to tonight to 67 degrees. Some clouds, not that many. Looking at your Friday here, it is around the same as it was today here in the Valley area. 84 in Phoenix, 83 in Casa Grande. And then as we look to the weekend, there are some really fantastic events. I think you can tell that I've got a theme running here. There's a mac and cheese festival going on both days here, and I'm told you can taste 20 different flavors of mac and cheese. Then there's also the Phoenix Pizza Festival, where you can grab a slice from many different vendors here, and the Downtown Donut Festival on Sunday. Both of those events will be at Margaret Hance Park. And of course, as we head into that weekend, the weather is going to be actually gorgeous. 85 degrees on Sunday. As we go through the week, it is going to become a little bit cloudy and there will be showers. It may be time to start packing that umbrella in your trunk of your car. I'm Annika Abbott in the Cronkite News Weather Center.
Up next, the Suns break ground on a new training facility, and Cronkite News crews were there. Your front row seat after the break.
By the year 2050, there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. Before Professor Halden, I had an insane amount of passion, but I almost felt helpless because I didn't know how to use it. Professor Halden gave me a chance to make a difference. Being at a place like ASU allows you to take these big leaps. Ultimately, the biggest problems in the world cannot be solved alone.
Welcome to another edition of Cronkite Sports Now. I'm Taylor Rocha. Let's talk sports.
For the latest on local sports and beyond, we've got you covered.
Let's do this thing.
We challenge reporters to go beyond, a game story. We want stories with depth.
It's just a crucial step from the college experience into the professional experience while you're still in school.
At Cronkite Sports Now, watch the journalists of tomorrow cover sports today.
I'm Jose Cardenas, host of Horizonte. Each week, we bring you experts and community leaders to discuss the issues that are vital to our community here in Arizona. We cover the stories that affect and inspire us and our families, and talk to the newsmakers who shape the communities where we live. Horizonte is your source and your voice for what matters most here on Arizona PBS.
I had swore I was not going to watch the Vietnam War because I could remember the day I watched us finally get the helicopters out thinking, okay, it's over, and then went to my college class. Next thing I know, I'm watching Ken Burns' Vietnam. And the thing that caught me so much was how he was talking to the winners, and this North Vietnamese general said, there's no winners in war. That just stopped me dead in my tracks.
For more information about including Arizona PBS in your future plans, visit azpbs.org/giving.
Join us each week on Catalyst, the show that explores new advancements, technologies, and innovations at Arizona State University that are shaping the future for tomorrow and beyond. Catalyst, Wednesdays at 9, right here on Arizona PBS.
Here at Cronkite News, we have producers who craft shows that make an impact on our community. Our broadcasts allow students to be involved in all levels of production, from producing to directing. We are guided by highly respected professionals who mentor the journalists of tomorrow. From technical directing to teleprompting and beyond, our production crew works tirelessly to produce meaningful and award-winning shows. We are Cronkite News on Arizona PBS.
With wildfires, a scarcity of water, and other environmental issues facing the Earth today, it's critical to stay up to date with local impacts of a changing climate. That's why we created Elemental, covering sustainability, a multimedia collaboration between public television and radio stations. From climate change to water conservation to renewable energy and much more, Elemental covers the latest in sustainability news. Find our stories on our website, elementalreports.com.
On the next Arizona Horizon, we'll talk about impeachment from a constitutional perspective, and we'll learn more about a new initiative that's putting healthcare on wheels. That's on the next Arizona Horizon.
I'm Judy Woodruff. Tonight on the NewsHour, a historic day, full analysis of the first public impeachment hearing. Coming up after Cronkite News and Arizona Horizon on Arizona PBS.
The Suns will continue their homestand tonight as they host the Hawks inside Talking Stick Resort Arena.
But yesterday, Robert Sarver, James Jones and company played host as they unveiled a new training facility on 44th and Camelback.
The facility will provide new practice courts, locker rooms, and a players' lounge. Construction of the new training space began earlier this year and is funded as a part of the $235 million stadium deal the city of the Phoenix agreed to in January.
It's scheduled to be completed by August of 2020, and the Suns won't be the only ones to utilize the facility. It will also be used by the Phoenix Mercury.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona news stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
I'm Chef Mark Charbel. Join me for Check Please Arizona. This week, our guests have dined all over the valley at the Beer Research Institute in Mesa, Ahai Sushi and Grill in Goodyear, and at Evo in Scottsdale. Don't miss Check Please Arizona, tonight at 7 on Arizona PBS.
I'm Alberto Rios. Join me on the next Art in the 48. Together, we'll explore the arts right here in Arizona with the people who are creating art and sharing it too. So look around your community. Art is everywhere. An all-new Art in the 48, tonight at 7:30, only on Arizona PBS.
Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
You know, looking at the way things are